Hey everyone! As you probably know, if you've been around my blog a bit, October is Learning Disabilities and ADHD Awareness Month, and as part of that, today I'm going to finally review the C-Pen reading pen, which I was sent by the manufacturer to check out and give my opinion on. To clarify, I sent the request to them and they were cool enough to send out the pen and let me review it for them. So the C-Pen reading pen is particularly helpful for people with reading disabilities such as dyslexia or other learning disabilities. For me, I retain information better when I hear it rather than when I see it. So I have what would be technically a learning disability related to reading comprehension, even though I can technically read just fine. I don't really remember the stuff that I read by sight as well as I remember what I hear. It looks nice, which is a step up from a lot of other assistive devices that maybe don't look as nice. It's also well designed. You can operate it with one hand, so you can see it's starting up right now. Startup process is a little bit slow, but as you will see, it's already started up. I found this was very intuitive to learn how to use. I mean, I think it came with instructions. I obviously didn't use them because that's not what I do. I did read how to use the scan to document, but I didn't actually, I just kind of wanted to see how intuitively I could learn to use the pen, and it went pretty well. Once you get in there, you can see the features and scroll through those. So we have a text reader, a dictionary, scan to files, so you can actually plug this right into your computer and hook it up to a word processor, and it'll scan the text that you've read right into your computer, which is a great feature. I used it once at the library when I was looking up some research for a blog post I was writing, and hooked it up to my computer using the standard USB connection, which is also great because even if you don't have the supplied cord, you possibly have one of those in your bag, because I know I do. There's also a voice recorder in here as well, so if you're recording a lecture, in terms of settings, you can set it to be left or right-handed. As well, you can select the accent of your voice, so there is an American English voice and a British English voice. One issue that I have with the pen, which is fairly minor, is that the voice quality or the sound quality of the American English voice is not as clear as what it would be with the British English voice. As well, you can change the brightness and the date on the pen, the time, how long it takes before it automatically shuts down. As I said, there is a dictionary included as well, which is great. You can scan a word and it'll give you the definition. There's a Spanish to English, English to Spanish dictionary, so you can, if you're learning either of those languages, you can switch back and forth. So we're gonna right now enter into text reader mode. And I've got a few different books here that I'll show you how it works. So we'll start off with one of my favorites, Spark by John Rady and Eric Hagerman. So this is just your standard print book. So I'll make sure my volume's all the way up here. You can also adjust the speed of the reading, so mine is on fast. I believe this will read up to fonts about size 24. It works best if you're using a dark text on a light background or light text on a dark background. I tried to scan it on some darker yellow text on a yellow background and the contrast wasn't high enough for it to pick up. But for example here,
exercise makes us feel better, but most of us have no idea why. Capital W.
So the capital W there, that was the beginning of the next sentence started to scan.
V plus reduction.
Okay, so you see that it didn't read the word introduction correctly. I did kind of not scan straight, so we'll try it again. Getting closer. I mean, this thing's not perfect. Alright, so here's a slightly awkward camera angle, but it'll give you a better idea of how this thing works. So, scan.
The new pay.
So it does try to pronounce abbreviations if they're lacking periods as words, which is completely understandable.
Such things.
So you have to be pretty precise with this thing. If you're not kind of right on the line, depending on the size of your text, it will give you kind of gibberish. I find it's harder actually to scan normal, paperback books like this than it is textbooks. When you're thinking this is probably going to be used in an academic setting, that might make sense, but for younger kids who are potentially using it as a tool, that might be a bit of a problem. We'll see how it goes on the picture book.
The Naperville Revolution started started, as such things often do, with
So that wasn't as bad. We'll try the next line.
equal parts idealism and self-preservation.
So yeah, I mean, works fairly well as long as you're scanning in the exact right spot. You get down the rhythm pretty quickly. We'll take a look at this one. Just like a picture book, and it's actually a pop-up book. So we've got like a bunch of different colors in here. Just take a look at the font there, in the blue box. You'll see that the font is all in capitals and is slightly less, professional, obviously, than the textbook or the other book's font.
Some dinosaurs were built to attack, but OTHFR.
Okay, so it messed up the word others. So it depends, I think, partly as well on the paper used. So this is obviously like a cardboard, so that's gonna possibly pose a bit more of a challenge for one of these pens. All right, so we'll give this picture book a shot now, see if the paper maybe has something to do with it.
Saturnalia, possibly the first sauropodomorph.
I don't know how to pronounce sauropodomorph either, so I think it did pretty good on that one. Oh, I was going to show you the dictionary.
Triceratops.
All right, Triceratops. So, see the definition pops up. Triceratops, noun, any rhinoceros-like herbivorous dinosaur of the I don't know what that word means. I apparently need a dictionary for the dictionary.
Triceratops, Triceratops, any rhinoceros-like herbivorous dinosaur of the Ornithischia genus.
And as well, we have the textbook. This is actually the particular book that it didn't pick up the yellow on yellow well in. Give that a go.
Box 4. Box.
So it's getting the word box, but it's not getting text box.
Critical questions.
Okay, so I didn't scan the C. You gotta start about a centimeter or so prior to the word you want to scan and end about the same distance afterwards, just so you get the whole word. That's my fault. It says that in the instructions. This is black on green, light green.
This chapter will provide you with the tools to do the following.
So that's pretty good. These do come at a slightly high price point given the technology that's within this kind of compact and fairly sleek looking package. However, there are ways that you can apply for funding to be able to access this technology a little bit cheaper through your academic institution or other organizations. I do think it's certainly a worthwhile tool if you have issues with reading, or like I said, if you're learning another language. Like Spanish is in this pen, and I'm not sure in the future they may have different models for different languages, which I think would be extremely helpful. As well, for people who have low vision, as long as you can use a standard highlighter on text, you're able to use this pen. So it wouldn't work for people who are completely blind. For people who do have some degree of sight, perhaps can say identify, a line of print, they may be able to benefit from this tool as well. I definitely think it's a very useful tool for people with learning disabilities or who really just process information better by sound. And I know there's a lot of people out there and people who have begun experimenting with text-to-speech on their computers, and this is a way to take that into the real world where you're not necessarily going to have an electronic document. You can use this. There's a headphone jack on the top there, and so you can plug it in so you can actually not disturb people with it, which is great. As well, charges with this same USB port that you plug in to transfer text to the computer. I really enjoyed the fact that it did not have a proprietary cable with it, because that's like the bane of my existence when everything has a different cord, so I'm very pleased that they integrated a cord that everybody has lying around, as well as included one in the box. Definitely recommend. Thanks to the folks who make the C Pen for sending this out to me to review. I'm pretty impressed with it for the size and the form factor of this pen. It's, feels really nice in your hand. It comes with a carrying case as well. It just slides in there, which is a nice touch. And as always, there were no strings attached with my review, so they wanted an honest review, they wanted honest feedback, and I have gone over my praises and my gripes about this device. Definitely think this is a useful tool and would be able to help out a lot of people. So readingpens.com is where you can go to learn more about this thing, and you can let me know or contact them if you have any questions.